Why is Terrifier 3 making so much money at the box office compared to its initial budget? Why do we love to be scared? First of all, we're talking about what may be the goriest, bloodiest, and most perverse exploration into the mind of pure evil. But enough about Chad Kroeger from Nickelback. Art the Clown pushes the envelope of what are the accepted limits to violence and atrocities in film. He slices faces off, he saws women in half, he rips off limbs and tortures victims to the point of exhaustion. And that's just the tame part. So what does this do for us? Do we crave the gore? Do we love the chaos of a good horror story? Or are we just psychos? An article by Science Alert just came out which prompted me to ask these questions. So close to Halloween, horror stories in any medium are a fun escape from everyday life, and many of us are just addicted to them. Just like hot sauce or that rock cocaine you bought in Chicago in the middle of the night in a back alley, but you didn't have enough money to pay for it, so you went all Jennifer Connelly like Requiem in a Dream. And just don't talk about it in polite circles, but I digress. So why are we apparently addicted to this genre? Well, that's because it's a controlled artificial experience. You can always put down that book, walk out of the theater, or just click pause on that remote. They offer the psychological highs that fear triggers without any real consequences. You know you're safe, even though your brain just perceived a trauma. So you get the best of both worlds. Another reason for our not so healthy addiction to horror films is that our brains play this tug of war between stability and change. Stability in psychology refers to the consistency in our behaviors, thoughts, and emotions over time across different situations. This gives us structure and security, and we cannot grow without a strong, stable base. If stability is your beautiful and loving wife who bore you 2.5 children and you share a happy life with, change is that tattooed stripper with the double D cups you met in Vegas that goes all fuck to and spit on that thing. You get me? We need change in our life, even if it isn't that stripper, but something that breaks a pattern of monotony and gives us a thrill. Enter horror movies and a little TNA that's just a cherry on top. Next is the idea that a perceived threat prompts us to create social emotional bonds for protection, and it causes your brain to release the love hormone, oxytocin. Why do you think women love horror movies at a rate of 42% to 58%? That's almost a 50-50 split, which seems strange since popular assumptions about horror movies are that they are male power fantasies. So the need for power and control is not only for men. Man, it's as good as chocolate and sex. When you face stress in your social network, your oxytocin level rises to initiate social coping strategies. However, horror movies put our hypothalamus on overdrive. So guys, take your girls to a horror movie if you want to get ahead in your relationship. Furthermore, horror movies can also be a way for us to prepare for the worst. In the early days of COVID, films like Contagion and Outbreak were huge on streaming platforms. Some would say that watching these during a pandemic could be as depressing as the Star Wars sequels, but it actually helped us emotionally prepare for future threats and allow us to play out threat scenarios in a controlled environment. It's important for our minds to release our wiggles.
Sister, they are just niños trying to release their wiggles.
Researchers at the Aarhus University Recreational Fear Lab in Denmark, yes, there's actually a recreational fear lab in Denmark, demonstrate in a study that those who regularly consume horror media were more psychologically resilient during the COVID-19 pandemic than non-horror fans. So remember, you're fortifying your mind when you're watching Art the Clown chainsaw man in half. So in conclusion, horror movies help us produce powerful, positive emotions, strengthen our social network, and prepare you to face your worst fears so you can better embrace each day to its fullest. So the next time you're choosing between an upbeat comedy or a creepy thriller for a movie night, embrace the dark side. Well, like, subscribe, and comment, and as always, keep watching movies.